Okay, so what we'd like to do is start doing an assembly of this any-angle vise. And to do that, we have to start a new file. So we'll go to New, and note we've got Part and Assembly. We want Assembly, so we can click on that and hit OK, or we can double-click it. Doesn't matter. And I'm just going to do a little rearranging here real quick. We'll be able to see that other file so we can reference it. Now it's already in the assembly mode, but if we want to, I'm going to close that. I'm just going to go ahead and hit save. But when you pull up that assembly file, it will ask you to go ahead and insert parts. So what I'm going to do is create a new name here. Okay, so I've got my part now. Insert components is right here, and it asks you to start looking for components. So I'm going to go in there, and I want the saddle. Now you can actually insert more parts if you choose to, or you can do them one at a time. If you want, you can pick on one part, hold the control button, and you can move around if you need to. Sorry, I already had that picked. So I can go ahead and pick all those, hit open, and it's going to ask me to start inserting. There's one, there's another. It really doesn't matter where you put them. Okay, so there's a couple components. Now I'm going to have to go back in and find some more components. Now some of those I've got in another folder, the 2014 version. So I need the looks like I'm still going to need the upper member. Or am I? Let's see. That yeah, I think, yeah, that's the center member there. So I need the upper. I need the cam. So again, I'm holding the control button down. I need the handle. I need the plug, and that's it. So I'll hit open, and it asks me to insert those. And one more. So I've got those all in place. So, and now I'm just going to move these around a little bit. I'm going to move this up, and I'm going to move the saddle to the very top. That's my main component there. Now note also right here you can see there's an F in front of center member. That means the center member can't move, but these other components can. The reason that came in that way is that was the first part that was inserted, and it fixed it. So what we can do is right click on that and hit float. So that piece is now moving. What I would suggest is that you usually want to have at least one part fixed. So we'll go to the saddle, which is essentially the base, and hit fix, and that component then won't move. So everything else will move with the exception of that one, unless you see an F over here. If you see an F right in there instead of that dash, then you know it's fixed, or otherwise it's floating. So the next thing we would want to do is try to, if you will, what Inventor called was constrain these components to each other. So in SolidWorks that's called mate. So we can come over here and hit mate, and it'll ask us to start picking some parts. Now we want to pick this saddle on this component, or on that surface there, and I'll rotate, I'll rotate this around, and we'll pick that cylindrical face. Now it pops up with what we want here, and it's concentric. That means that those two arcs have the same center. I'm going to go ahead and accept that, and note when I do it clears out the selections, and we can go on and just keep inserting mates. So the next thing I would probably want to do is pick this face and make this face flush with it. Okay, now we can do some other things with that, but right now that flush or concentric or coincident, excuse me, would be the pick for that. So those two components are now locked together. Now they still have some movement. This thing can still move back and forth, which is fine. We will limit that here later on, but for now we just need that thing to smoothly move back and forth in that arc motion. So we're good there. So I guess I would go ahead and hit the save button. Doesn't cost anything. Rebuild and save. Yes, that's fine. Okay, then we would want to put in another, put one of these other components in. Also note I don't have my side plates inserted in there, so I'll have to do that. But the next thing you want to do then is put this, let's see, there we go. I was afraid it was fixed. We want to put this center member in place. Now that one is off perpendicular to the other one. The holes are. So we'll just go in there and do another mate, and we'll do just like we did before. We want this surface and this surface to be mated up. Okay, so we're good there. And we want to mate this surface and that surface, and we're good there. So that all looks good. Now again, then, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fix this piece. Let's see, yeah, there it is, fix. And I note I can move this one, and because I didn't fix this, or because I did fix this one, I was able to move that easy enough. If you float it, they'll both move. This one will still move, and sometimes they'll move when you don't want that green to move. When this one's moving, sometimes they'll do some crazy things. So that's the only disadvantage there. Okay, so again, I'd probably hit the save button, except for I just hit open, I think. Oh, I can't hit save until I get out of the make command. So I'll hit save, yeah, rebuild with the document, that's fine. Okay, now maybe I probably ought to go in and get those side plates now. So I'm going to go ahead and insert a side plate. And what I'm going to do, let's see, it's not in there, so it must be in the new stuff here. There's the side plate. I'll open that, and I'll put it wherever. Okay. And just for fun, I'll go ahead and hit save. And now I'm going to do some other mates. Now the question is, where do I want to put this? Well, let's put it down here on the red one once. Move this around here a little bit so you can see it better. And again, this is three-dimensional, so when you're moving, you're not necessarily moving where you think you're moving. You have to be cognizant of that. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to mate. And we're going to zoom in here, and we're going to grab this cylinder. And then we're going to zoom right in here and grab this cylinder. So what that just did, I'm going to go ahead and accept that, and I'll close this. What it just did, and you can see it back here, it actually took that and made those two cylindrical shapes concentric. In other words, they have the same center. So if we look at this surface straight in, we can see that hole right there. So, and I think earlier I had alluded to the fact that we can click on a surface and look at it, look normal to it, and there it is right there. Okay, so you can always be able to see that. Well, we also note that we still have a gap between this face and the other face here. So what I would suggest we would want to do there is do a mate between this face and this face, and accept that, and we've got that piece mated up. Now this thing still has some movement, so we want to get that locked in. So the easiest way to do that is do what we just did earlier. We'll go ahead and mate this surface and that surface and accept it. Now this side plate now can no longer move, so that's a big plus for us. So let's stop this video here, and then we'll come back and we'll put some more side plates in, and then we've got some more work to do on the handle. Well, actually, the handles we'll do next, the handle and the cam. So we'll go from there on the next video.